Good evening and many thanks for joining us live on QTV. You are watching QTV News and I am Ajibintu Drame. In tonight's top stories. The Gambia Press Union Awards Committee held its first press briefing ahead of the 2022 Journalism Excellence Awards. 100 military personnel have graduated on Friday after completing a month's training on the impact of social media on civil-military relations. 15 Gambia Port Authority staff have completed a 5-day-long training course on various disciplines relevant to their operations. Women farmers at Lamin Wayeto have spoken about the numerous challenges they face at their farms where they grow different crops and vegetables. And in sports, Lamin Kaba Bajo has been re-elected as GFF president for the second time. His third overall in an elective Congress marred by allegations of irregularities prior to voting on Saturday. Those were our headlines and now the news in detail. And now, the Gambia Press Union Awards Committee held its first press briefing ahead of the 2022 Journalism Excellence Awards. Jennifer Sonko was at the briefing and she now reports.
The awards are part of GPU's activities marking World Press Freedom Day on May 3rd each year. The committee says due to financial and logistical related challenges, the award ceremony is often held late. The awards recognize and reward excellence in journalism to inspire others. The awards targets Gambian journalists working for registered media outlets and journalists working for international media are also accepted. Stories considered nominations must have been published between the 1st January 2021 to 31st December 2021. Sana Kamara, the chairman of this year's awards committee, reveals the categories for this year's awards.
The 2022 Awards Committee is happy to inform you that 22 award categories are available for this year's ceremony. Those categories are human rights, business and finance, sports, migration or human trafficking, children's reporting, medical and health reporting, women's reporting, environmental climate change, legal affairs, travel and tourism, agriculture, arts, culture and entertainment, political reporting, investigative journalism, photojournalism, disaster reporting, which is considered a special award this year, journalist of the year, radio station of the year, TV station of the year, newspaper of the year, online media or network of the year, rural radio of the year.
In addition to those categories, the awards committee presents 2 special awards, namely the Press Freedom and Media Empowerment Awards to deserving Gambians. Mr. Kamara took us through areas the judges will be assessing.
They will be receiving and assessing all entries and decide on the best entries that deserve the awards. In their assessment of the entries, the judges will be looking for accuracy and relevance, grammar, style and presentation, the impact of the story, creativity and originality.
On the need to separate certain awards categories, for example, business and finance, the award committee says resource constraints pushed them to combine related disciplines. Aissatou Keita, the vice president of GPU, explains.
Organizing these awards aren't it's not an easy task for one to be able to do. It involves a whole lot of finances and resources. And like you made mention, business and finance, although they are different things, but they are kind of very close. And when you look at most of the times, the reports that are being carried out by certain journalists, in most cases, people aren't only restricted in covering finance, or most of the reports on finance aren't too much. So it was deemed fitted to fuse the two so that we will be able to also be able to cover these categories in terms of the resources that are already available. Sometimes there are not our resources or finances available to be able to cater for the needs of the awards, which is quite very daunting.
The chairman of the award committee says they are trying to accommodate more categories to reflect what everyone does, especially videographers.
The objective is to be as inclusive as possible. Obviously, we will not be perfect, and every year we are aiming to go higher and we are making sure that every aspect of journalism is covered. Last year we didn't have, in fact, I think last year we opened some categories and there were no submissions at all. Yeah. So we are endeavoring every year to make sure that we cover everybody.
Opinion articles, advertorials, works produced under contract for commercial promotion, and newsletters articles are not eligible for the awards. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosonko.
100 military personnel have graduated on Friday after completing a month's training on the impacts of social media on civil-military relations and gender-based violence. Omar P. Jallo attended the event and filed this report.
The month-long intensive training exposed participants to the impact of social media on civil-military relations and gender-based violence, amongst other modules. The Internet has connected society and exposed information for public consumption at an unprecedented rate and volume. As part of society, military members are not immune to consuming and sharing ideas, data and opinions instantly. Mohamed Lamin Fatajo, the Director General of the Kairaba Center for Professional Training, said over the years his institution has partnered with great institutions, locally and internationally, to deliver training to hundreds of students in key areas who are now working in the private and public sectors.
For today marks the end of a sustained period of intense learning in the classrooms and in the field of training. You graduate today as students equipped with greater knowledge and new skills in social media, gender-based violence, and human studies will serve you well as within the civil and military relations.
Major Lamin Mane, the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, commended the center for their support in facilitating the training, which he described as a stepping stone in graduates' persistent pursuit for success. Major Mane urged the graduates to always maintain discipline.
To the graduates, please accept our congratulations and best wishes on behalf of the officers, men and women of the Gambia Armed Forces. And do remember, to whom much is given, much is expected. You are therefore requested to share the experience and knowledge gained during this course with your comrades in your various individual units.
Dr. Mohammed Galolo Lawal from Lincoln University revealed that 10 female students have been selected to do a bachelor's degree at Lincoln University on 50% scholarship.
I want to say a big congratulations to the graduates for this great knowledge that has been acquired by you. I want to urge you to use it in solving problems within and outside your country.
Bine Marong, representing the guest speaker, KMC Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda, urged graduates to take seriously the knowledge gained and be good ambassadors of the GAF and the Kairaba Center.
As this is very important for any society and graduation, women studying, as this is also a special model, of course.
Delivering the vote of thanks on behalf of his graduating colleagues, Warrant Officer 1 Usman Ba expressed appreciation to the Kairaba Center for Professional Training and the GAF Command for their immense contribution towards their development.
As in life, if you want to be successful, you have to be disciplined. Discipline is very important.
Despite some advantages, social media in particular presents risks to the state of civil-military relations, as it has the potential to present a challenge to good order and discipline by threatening the military's non-partisan position, thereby losing public trust that may have taken decades to build. At the conclusion of the ceremony, all the graduating students were awarded certificates. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Moving on, 15 Gambia Ports Authority staff have completed a 5-day training course, which, among other areas, covered customer care, quality management, and team-building diplomacy. The training was conducted by Diplomacy Etiquette and Protocol Consulting. Mobdulamin Choi has more.
Building the capacity of the staff of an institution is a significant means to promote efficient and effective service delivery. The Gambia Ports Authority has organized this training to better equip its staff with the required skills to deliver on its mandate as a maritime agency. The participants at this training course are exposed to a range of skills including customer care, quality management, team building, diplomacy in the workplace, and etiquette and protocol practices. Ibrahim Usmandur is a seasoned diplomat and the CEO of Diplomacy, Etiquette and Protocol Consulting.
These are soft skills. These are soft skills that are necessary for any institution. We are quite happy. This doesn't only apply to the civil service, it applies both to the civil service and the private sector. And we'll go knocking on doors to make sure that all Gambian institutions are trained, inshallah.
This training is critical for the Gambia Ports Authority, given the GPA's function as a maritime agency which deals with both local and international customers. The knowledge and skills gained from this training when practiced can promote the GPA's vision to provide effective and efficient first-class services and deliver on its mission to excel as a leading maritime center for trade, logistics and distribution.
As delivery of excellence is a key component of the port's mission, which we are always striving to improve. A training of this nature was worthwhile as it positions you to distinguish yourself as a professional, not only in your appearance, but in your comportment and your speech. Learning and development is a continuous process, no matter what level of qualification you may hold. I, therefore, congratulate the participants from the GPA for their attendance and successful completion of this training.
These GPA staff who have undergone this training are from various departments and are expected to use the knowledge gained to add value to the services of the ports. Mamoudou El Sanyang, one of the participants, tells us how significant the training is to him and his work colleagues.
You look at it from the designation that I am working on, that is public relations and staff welfare. We have both internal and external customers. And the course that we just undergo training is we have diplomatic, etiquette, protocol, team building, customer care, and quality management. These are very, very, very important areas considering our relation with the people, particularly the public, who are the main customers of the Gambia Ports Authority.
The Gambia Ports Authority is a state-owned enterprise which was established in 1972 and recently celebrated its Golden Jubilee. The GPA is mandated to manage and provide marine and harbour facilities, cargo handling and storage, among other host of responsibilities. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
And from the story, we will go for a commercial break. Still to come, we have more stories, to stay tuned.
Looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the Qcel Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. Qcel, Senior Bus. We innovate, others follow.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with partners, will be embarking on another countrywide COVID-19 vaccination campaign from 11 to 28 August 2022. Vaccination teams will be deployed to public places such as community bantabas, health facilities, schools, markets, crossing points, and other strategic locations. All eligible people aged 12 and above are encouraged to come out and be vaccinated. Vaccination teams will be administering 3 types of vaccines, namely Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Sinopharm, all of which are safe and effective in preventing severe COVID-19 infection, hospitalization, and death. For more information, call the ministry's toll-free number 1025.
Welcome back. Now, women farmers at Lamin Waieto have spoken about the numerous challenges they face at their farms, where they grow different crops and vegetables to earn a living. More in this report. Vegetables are grown during the dry season and rice is cultivated during the rainy season. This is where these hard-working women toil to make ends meet. The ground is wet and muddy and there are no distinctive routes to access the side. Among their problem is intrusion by salt water, which affects their crops. Omi Baji, a farmer, laments the high cost of fertilizer.
dañ dee sonna fii torop parce que léegi di nga gis ne ñun suñ maas gi baadoole yi ñun li ñooy liggéey moom lañ dee dundalee suñ njaboot yi.
It's very difficult here. We the poor farmers live from hand to mouth to fend for our families. It is difficult to get fertilizer because it is costly and poor farmers like us can't afford it. A pot of fertilizer is $75, which can serve our large farms. Even the organic manure like goat or cow dung is for sale now. A bag is $50. When will we save money? It is difficult. In the Gambia, agriculture is the backbone of the economy. However, most of the products we consume are imported. Kumba Balde calls on the government and Good Samaritans for support. One of our problems is when it rains heavily. The water flows into our fields and covers our crops completely. When there is a rise in the water level from the river, which contains salt, it flows into our fields and affects our crops. In fact, this year, our husbands had to place sandbags to prevent salt water from intruding. Those around the other end of the fields will not cultivate their fields this year. Another problem these women face is infestation, which often bite them, causing bleeding. Umi Baji explains.
Atam bi ngeen fi ñëwoon noonu diw yi ñu jotoon na jox noonu diw yooyu noonu saaf nañ ñu.
There was a time QTV came here. After the news broadcast, we were supported with grease and other materials. The grease was very helpful against leeches. However, we need socks, gloves and boots. Right now, there is no water on the farmland, but leeches are still there. Asatu Jallo, another farmer, also explains.
Sahi dañoo gétet comme que fii ma nekk nii fi ma jógee nii ndox bariwul foofu waaye am na sax ñaar moo ma jàpp léegi.
These leeches affect us a lot. There is not much water in my garden, but there are lots of leeches. I just removed 2 leeches from my body a while ago. If one is afraid, they can't bear with them. Earthworms also affect our vegetables. If we harvest sweet potatoes, hoping for a bumper harvest, we get disappointment at the end. Some of these women have worked here for ages, providing fruits, rice and vegetables not only to feed their families, but also supply our local markets with the much-needed products. However, all they need various kinds of support to continue earning a living. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News. And now in sports news. Lamin Bajo has been re-elected as GFF president for the second time, his third overall in an elective Congress marred by allegations of irregularities prior to voting on Saturday. Our sports reporter Momodu Gajaga was at the Congress and he now reports.
Gambia football stakeholders have re-elected Lamin Bajo as president of the Gambia Football Federation at an elective Congress held on Saturday. Bajo won the election with 51 votes. While his challenger, Sadibu Kamaso, got 25 votes. There was one invalid vote. Lamin Bajo thanked the delegates who had the confidence to re-elect him for another 4 years.
The biggest thanks also to go to those who voted for me and my team members. Despite the fact that you are in the majority and you had every cause to do otherwise, but we are taking heed of the advice that we gave each other last night. I thank you and I'm indebted to you for heeding to what you said. It is 8 years ago when myself and some members of the executive who are re-elected were elected to serve Gambian football. And there's no gainsaying and it's an indisputable fact, and there's no doubt that 2014 to 2022, Gambian football has seen unprecedented developments by all standards.
The build-up to the election was not without controversy. From Hawks FC's withdrawal of Sadibou Kamaso's signature as Secretary General of its club to initial plans to do block voting rather than individually. Kamaso was also barred from attending the extraordinary AGM, which was taking place at the same venue ahead of the presidential vote. Sadibou Kamaso says there were irregularities in the electoral process, but said the voting process was transparent.
Normally the electoral committee should have had seating arrangements wherever you go, for every congress. But they did this so that they can monitor what these people are doing. So they did not leave them in, because when they were coming, most of the RFAs were going to do a block voting. And now that things have gone this way, that's what the stakeholders wanted. The voting process, I must admit, was fair because it was transparent. But what happened before the voting process is what we are questioning. But as you said, we spoke to the stakeholders, we met them, we sold our agenda to the best of our ability, and most of them bought the ideas that we had. So if they change today, because we have seen the executive split in clubs, so if they change today and go the other way, we accept that's what the stakeholders said, but we would sit as a team.
Team Kababajo won the rest of the other positions unopposed because Kamaso's team withdrew their candidature, making the way clear for Bakari Jame as first vice president, Ibu Faye as second vice president, and Numukunda Kanyi as third vice president. Mumudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin, here's a recap of our main headlines. The Gambia Press Union Awards Committee held its first press briefing ahead of the 2022 Journalism Excellence Awards. 100 military personnel have graduated on Friday after completing a month's training on the impact of social media on civil-military relations. 15 Gambia Ports Authority staff have completed a 5-day-long training course on various disciplines relevant to their operations. Women farmers at Lamin Waito have spoken about the numerous challenges they faced at their farms where they grow different crops and vegetables. And in sports news, Lamin Kababajo has been re-elected as GFF president for the second time, his third overall in an elective Congress marred by allegations of irregularities prior to voting on Saturday. That's all for this edition of the news. Thank you for watching.